Hi, there we go. We are rocking and rolling. Welcome to January 7th, right? That sounds crazy. All right, this is really high today. There we go. All right, welcome to today's Q&A. My name is Jessie, here with Decker Truckline. We're going to answer some questions for you and fill you in on what's going on and all that good stuff. So, if you have questions, that's what the chat is for. This is really an opportunity for you to ask your questions and get them answered, so that you know a little bit more about Decker, what we have available, and what kind of equipment we have, what kind of benefits, and all that good stuff. So one question starting off the day was about health insurance and health coverage. We had we moved over to a new health coverage, and in the meantime we didn't have all of the details properly set up for you when it came to who to call for what, and what I mean by that is I just didn't know all the virtual health options, and we do have that. It was just a little bit of miscommunication between them and us, so I want to make sure that you guys, if you have any questions about our virtual health, please reach out to our HR department or our benefits department so that we can get those answered. But that being said, if you are part of the Decker family already and you have already received your newsletter, yesterday afternoon, I guess, we sent out the newsletter, and in that it does let you know that the Med card, so first and foremost, that the Med1 card, it will no longer be effective. It's going to be a different number. So we have a new card. You should, if you don't already, have the Aplos app, then you can go ahead and sign in on that. But you'll also get an Aplos card. And on that card, it will have your new Med1 number. And the Med1 number, by the way, is for the prescription. If you haven't used it yet and you're like, what on earth is she talking about? That's what I'm talking about. So I want to make sure that you are aware of that. I had given the wrong information last Monday, not yesterday, but the week before. I had given the wrong information last Monday, thinking that Med1 card information, the original Med1 card that we had, was going to be consistent with the new one, and it is not. So I want to make sure that my miscommunication is done right now. You now know what kind of coverage we have. Fair enough? Okay, there we go. That's what I wanted to do. Hey, Andrew, how are you? How are you? HTML says, hey, orientation's going great. Good deal. Glad to have you back. Getting rocking and rolling. Awesome. I lost where I was at. Fantastic. That's how it works. Oh, there we go. What I was looking at was just our insurance information as well, and making sure that I was getting that right information to you. Also, the other stuff that I wanted to make sure of is that when it came to the health insurance, that's the virtual, I started kind of talking about this right out of the gate, but with the virtual health insurance coverage, that's with Aplos, it's Clinic and an Exemplicare. There we go. So I did put some information in our Facebook group for the Decker drivers. If those of you want to take a look at it, and if you have any questions, please let us know. But those were questions that we were getting asked. People were looking for their doctors that they had used before. They were looking for access to doctors or health professionals, whether it be therapists or whatnot. So that all of that information is in our Facebook group. I'm hoping that it answers some questions, so you're not in the dark. I will be sending out more information as well, so that you guys are fully educated on it, if you want to be. If you don't want to be, then there you go. Then you can move on from it, right? There. Excellent. Now it's too low. This is going to drive me bonkers. Okay, there we go. I have some, let's see if I can't get those for you. I have some names, 10 names that we get to celebrate who won the drawing for the quarterly safety training. So let me get those names real quick, and let's see. Vincent Tremy, Wesley Sears. This is a $20 gift card, by the way, to Pilot Flying J. If you are one of the first, if you're somebody who filled out and completed your quarterly safety training within the first 24 hours of it being released online, then your name goes into a drawing, and then we draw 10 names. Bradley Knoll, there we go, can't talk, that's all right. Claudia Day Deer, John Litham, Abdullah Muhammad, Mary Reeder, Todd Leavitt, Jerry Arthur, and Anthony O'Neill. There you go. So those are our individuals who won the $20 drawings. Yes. And we'll get that information out to you because you're going to need a code. What it is, it's Pilot Flying J gift card. It's a virtual gift card, so we can go ahead and give you the number for that, and then you can plug it into your Pilot Flying J app, and you'll be rewards app, and you'll be able to access that from here on out. You just want to get it on the app here pretty quick, or within the first 30 days, so that you don't lose it. Don't lose the points. You want that. Yes. Also, with quarterly safety training, trying to think of anything else. If you haven't already completed that, please go and do so. A lot of it is on, of course, winter driving and safe, how to prepare in winter driving, but also a lot of it is on hours of service. And as a professional driver, I think it's a given for most of you who understand the industry well. But having a good having a good understanding of your hours of service can be crucial in making sure that that you obviously have the time available, but that you're going to be on time. It's crucial when it comes to being, maximizing your miles, maximizing your time, making sure that if your goal is to make a little bit more and you aren't making yourself available right away, that's going to obviously have a bearing on it, because if you're not making yourself available, we can't get it to you. We have fewer options, and so that it's really important. I know that the responsibility lies both within, you've got your driver leader and we've got our customer service, of course, but we also have, besides that responsibility, we also have your responsibility. We want to make sure that we are both doing our parts to make sure that it links up perfectly for you, so that we can maximize your hours of service, getting you maximum miles, and going over and beyond our minimum pay, because we have that minimum pay, right? I think a lot of you guys know that, but the minimum pay is just that. That's a safety net, and we want to make sure that you're going over and beyond that, because it's obviously better for you, better for us, all overall. Making sure you're available and knowing your hours of service, maximizing those, that's key. But and then we have our 7 criteria, making sure that obviously you're available for dispatch at least 5 days out of the week, no load refusals, no service, no service claims, no late loads, no preventable accidents, no CSA violations, and of course getting your paperwork in on time. That's also important. We don't have the requirement of miles as far as the minimum pay, but that's kind of why it's there. But at the same time, we want to maximize those for you, so we can help you grow in that. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. By the way, again, my name is Jessie here with Decker Truckline. We're talking about trucking, and more specifically Decker Truckline, what we have available here, what kind of available positions we've got. And if you want to speak to a recruiter directly and you don't want to do the live thing, that's totally fine. You can reach out to our recruiting department at 877-433-2537. 877-433-2537, which is 877-4-DECKER. I just want to say that, so I have to like ease it in there. It's fun for me. All right. You can also go online at drivedecker.com and fill out an application as well if that's if that's easier. If you rather them just give you a call, totally fine. Sorry, catching that. Yes. So let's talk about what we have available here. We do have over the road refrigerated. We have a more regional refrigerated, but definitely over the road is going to be the majority of the options. We also have our over the road flatbed and more regional flatbed. Now, as far as individual positions within those different divisions, the refrigerated, just know you got a little bit of refrigerated, a little bit of dry van. Reason being, obviously, being a refrigerated unit, you can put dry freight in there if need be. And most of it's going to be refrigerated, but every now and then, placement-wise, you might be in the best place for us in order to get that, pick up a dry van load to place you for a better reefer. It depends. Every situation's a little bit different, but just know that could happen. It is no-touch freight. We do keep the no-touch freight. And what else can I tell you when it comes to available positions and stuff? With the refrigerated, I'm going to focus on refrigerated first. How about we do that? So with the refrigerated division, we have solo positions. We also have one team opportunity. As far as the team opportunity, you must live between Denver, Colorado and Chicago, Illinois along I-80 there. So the availability for that is just along that I-80 corridor between Denver and Chicago. If you don't live in that area, then some of the information, not that it wouldn't necessarily be available to you, but I'm not quite sure what the home time would be. We'll have to talk to operations. But if you live along I-80 between Denver and Chicago, then you're looking at about 4 weeks out at a time, home for 5 to 6 days when you're on home time. You'll be running a lot of over-the-road freight. Every once in a while, you might be covering a little bit of dedicated freight for some of our dedicated teams as well. In that case, I need to clarify, if you are covering some of our dedicated freight for our teams, the dedicated freight is hands-on. That is actually the one where it is touch freight. The difference between obviously a solo position, but with the hands-on, you're rolling carts on and off. That's the type of lumbering that you'll do. So they're bread loads, they're stacked, and I want to say, excuse me, I want to say they're like 300, 400 pounds. They're pretty heavy, but they're on these carts, and it's all bread, and you're rolling them up, on and off. That's what you're doing. Mm-hmm. So, Sean, how are ya? Good man. Vadim, he says, is there any remote positions? Currently, there are no remote positions. So in that case, I'm assuming you're looking for an office position versus a driving position. Probably safe to say, right? And if that's the case, yeah, currently there are no remote positions. We do have positions available in Des Moines. I'm bringing it up. Give me a sec here. I want to make sure that I'm giving you the right details. While I bring that up, it might throw off my connection, so I apologize if there's any buffering in the meantime. Hopefully it doesn't screw up the audio, which would be the most annoying part, right? If it did, that's what I did yesterday. For sure, I messed that up. All right, so available positions in-house. Let's talk about that. I know I'm bouncing around. I just want to make sure I'm answering the questions for those of you who are live first, so that you're not sitting here waiting. You want your questions answered, obviously. Okay, so we have a driver leader opportunity. A driver leader is for Decker Truckline is very similar to a driver manager, a dispatcher, in the fact that they are going to be dispatching you loads. However, we consider you a driver leader because you have a lot more authority and decision-making authority than it would be than a fleet manager or driver manager would. So with the driver leader position, you are set to help lead your drivers and help them grow where the a dispatcher is, just only focused on miles and things like that and getting the loads over to them. It's going to be more of a partnership, I guess, is the best way to describe it. Also, so that was in Des Moines. We have one of those available in Des Moines. We have a diesel mechanic opportunity in Fort Dodge. We partner with Iowa Community College, so we do partner with them quite a bit, and so we have a mechanic position that's more of like a tuition and expense reimbursement program, internship type thing, that we have like a job shadowing and internship, leading into a full-time position. Now, a couple of years ago, we had one of our mechanics go through that, and he's obviously, he's won some awards since, so had some recognition. I think it was last year that there was some pretty decent recognition around that for him in the not only his efforts, obviously the program as well. But so that's an opportunity. We have a driver leader also available in Fort Dodge. We also have a truck wash opportunity, a lead truck wash opportunity in Fort Dodge, as well as a general laborer there. We have a diesel mechanic position available in Sperry, and we are looking for tarpers and hostlers for our transport loading services available as well, our TLS. So, yes, we do have some opportunities, not remote, but not all of them are available in Fort Dodge. So, I mean, you still have to be at one of our locations. Fair enough? That hopefully answers your questions. Midwest Fishaholics. I love that. He says, hey there, do you still offer the Midwest flatbed Monday through Friday with $1,700 minimum? Thanks. We do not currently have that available. What we do have is the $1,450 in some areas. It definitely depends on where you live. So I don't want to just say Midwest, but it is located in the Midwest. You're running mostly the Midwest, but you still need to live in more specific areas, parts of Iowa, Illinois, Milwaukee, on over to, I think we gotta go over to the Indianapolis area. Let me actually bring up the map so I am being precise with some of the areas that we've changed the hiring area a little bit based on, we've expanded in some areas and brought back a little bit in others, only because obviously the amount of freight that we have there, who we have living in the area that's running the freight for us, we want to make sure that we're adapting as our professional drivers are hired on. So the area has actually expanded, this $1,450 home weekly. It is home weekly. I cannot guarantee that you're home on the weekends, even though most of the time you can expect coming home on like a Friday night or a Saturday morning and then back out either Sunday night or early Monday morning. So yes, and it basically it's Monday through Friday that you need to be available for the $1,450. In order to qualify for that $1,450, you must be available for dispatch at least 5 days out of the week. And Monday through Friday for flatbed is pretty consistent. And then, so must be available for dispatch at least 5 days out of the week. Have a good understanding of your hours of service, because if you're not maximizing your hours of service, you're never going to go beyond that. And that's going to be really in any of the divisions. I can tell you though, with this Midwest Flatbed division, you're running a lot of shorter runs compared to our over-the-road divisions. And that's why that minimum pay is a little bit more. So I'm sure you've already put that together, but just in case. What else was I going to tell you? So the 14, be available for dispatch. That's what it was. My criteria, be available for dispatch at least 5 days out of the week. No load refusals. So you can't be turning down loads, because that's going to throw off the whole system. And then you're going to be looking at your rate of pay per mile and the miles that you ran, which, keep in mind, if you're turning down a load, you're probably going to have to wait till we have another load available, or getting you to another location. So that can throw your miles off as well. So don't turn down any loads. And that's, again, we are not forced dispatch. However, in order to qualify for that minimum pay, then yes, you can't turn down the load. So that's the difference between the two as a company driver. So be available for dispatch at least 5 days out of the week. No load refusals. No driver service failures. You definitely have to have some on-time delivery. Our customers are relying on it for us. You're relying on it for us as consistent freight because, you know, these are contract customers. We want to make sure that we are going over and beyond to serve them. But so no driver service failures, no CSA violations for the week, no preventable accidents, no what am I missing? No, was that my 6? Oh, get your paperwork in on time. Why do I always forget that? I'm ridiculous. Okay, so get your paperwork in on time, which is Tuesday at 10 p.m. So Tuesday night, you must have your paperwork in order to get paid Friday, direct deposit. Those are the requirements. Those are on a week-by-week basis. So everything has to be in by Tuesday night. The qualifications, the cutoff is Tuesday, and then you get paid on Friday. So if you had a ticket or a moving violation, or, you know, I mean, if you didn't meet one of those requirements, then it's going to count for that week, but it won't count for obviously the week before or the week after. It's that specific week only that it's looking at. But yes, for the Midwest flatbed opportunities, it is $14.50 per week. I'm going to kind of draw an outline for you in an idea of where we hire, and just know that everything inside this outline that I'm giving you is going to be our hiring area currently, and that's as of January 7th, 2025. It changes all the time, so that's why I want to make sure I'm throwing that date out. All right, Minneapolis. So if you live in the Minnesota area, Minneapolis down south to Des Moines, out over to Springfield, down over to Louisville, Lexington, Kentucky, up north, that's where it definitely expanded, up north to Columbus, Ohio, on over to all the way up to Grand Rapids, Michigan area. So that's going to include Kalamazoo and really the western part of the southwestern part of Michigan. And then, and it's going to include Indiana. It's going to include Chicago. You're going to go on up north from Milwaukee, north to Green Bay, and then back over to Minneapolis. So that big area, that it's still obviously in the Midwest, but that big area that I just gave you, that's the outline. Everything inside there is going to be included in that Midwest flatbed $14.50 per week. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't hire flatbed and other opportunities. The minimum pay would be $1,000 a week, and you're home every other weekend. Minimum pay is $1,000 a week, but your growth or your opportunity for a higher weekly pay is definitely larger in that over-the-road division because you're not running as many short loads. All right, that was a very long answer or response to your question, but I did want to make sure that I was thorough on that one. Vadim says, does company pay referral bonuses for bringing a truck driver? I have sent 4 drivers from Texas, then is the pay after 1 month. Okay, so we do pay our professional drivers, our current drivers here at Decker, we do pay a referral bonus. It's $2,000 referral bonus for everybody who was not only referred, but hired on. So the key is that they do need to be hired on. So they need to meet our hiring requirements. And as long as they meet our hiring requirements, it's a $2,000 bonus. You get, now I got to think about this, $500 after they've been here for 30 days, $500 after they've been here for 90 days, and then the remaining $1,000 on their 6-month mark, right? Yeah, 6 months. I had to count. So you'll have that $2,000 paid by their first 6 months. Once, also, if you had somebody that you referred, your name also goes into a drawing for a chance to win a quarterly drawing for a chance to win $1,000. So there's that too. More growth there. Is the pay after 1 month? So yes, the pay is at 1 month. It's $30. $30. It's at 30 days. It's $500. There you go. Joseph Brown says, do you have team flatbed position? We do not. We have a team refrigerated opportunity. We do not team in our flatbed. A little shorter runs. Vadim says, Texas, I mean Dallas. Yeah, Dallas is a fantastic area for us currently for refrigerated. We also have some flatbed opportunity out of there, right? Do we still have flatbed out of there? Now I'm second guessing myself. Give me 1 sec. Let's see. flatbed? Yeah, we do. We're good. We're good. We still have flatbed out of there. So yeah, we've got flatbed. We've got refrigerated. Dallas is a great area for us. We can get you home in the flatbed every other week, usually around the weekend, but not always. And then in the refrigerated, you're looking at about 11 days out, 3 days home. You can also stay out a little bit longer, figure 2 to 3 weeks out at a time, 4 to 5 days home at a time. So yeah. Danny says, it's why the weekends off are not so great. It can affect your guarantee. Yeah, if you, depending on the division that you're on, if you are trying to be home on the weekends, and I should probably put this out as well. If you need to be home on the weekends, we can't guarantee that. So if you've got, if you have family that you have to be there for all weekend long, that definitely throws a wrench into the minimum pay because it might, it doesn't always line up for you. We're over the road for the most part. We're over the road. We don't do a lot of 4 or 5 days out at a time. We have some opportunities for 5 days at a time, yes, but there's flexibility on that home time. When you're not local, and sometimes even when you're a local driver, you see this, but weather can get in the way from that. A shipper or receiver can throw a wrench into your timing on home time. There's some consistency for sure, but it isn't. If your obligation on the weekend is an obligation that you absolutely have to be there for, please know that we can't guarantee the exact time that you're going to be home on the weekend and that it will be on the weekend. And I don't want you guys to think that, I don't want you to assume that we can, when yes, it's 5 days out at a time and you're home usually on a Friday night or a Saturday morning. And that's why I try very hard to make sure that you know that it could be Friday night, it could be Saturday morning, could be coming out Sunday night, could be Monday morning, but it depends on where that load is that you're coming out for. So if you're coming out, if your load delivers and it's 50 miles away from you, and it delivers at 7 a.m. on Monday morning, you know what? You probably don't need to leave until Monday morning, right? Like that's probably the case. But if the load that you're delivering from is, 300 miles away and it delivers at 7 a.m. in the morning on Monday morning, then you probably will need to leave Sunday night. Those are things that you kind of need to know ahead of time, that there's some leniency there. And I don't want to overpromise something. I'm fine with over delivering. I just don't want to overpromise something that I cannot or do not have 100% control over because of the way that freight runs. And Danny makes a perfect example. If home time has to be on the weekends, then it can definitely throw off your minimum pay because you might not qualify for that. Well, as long as as your obligation on the weekend has some flexibility, then we'll probably be fine. Then it probably won't be an issue because yes, we will get you there. We just have to have that little bit of a give on each side. So Danny, that's a good point. Vadum says, so if I'm not hired, I will not get the bonus. Oh, yes, and actually let me further elaborate on that. You must be hired before they are hired on, because if they hire on before you, technically, they'd be more eligible for a referral bonus than you because they're a current driver here at Decker. And because your bonus, the referral bonus pays out on the 30-day mark. So if they've already been here for a year, 3 months, 6 months, whatever, and you are just starting, well, you missed their 30-day mark, you missed their 6-month mark, etc. So yeah, you have to be hired before that individual you refer in order to get paid a referral bonus. Yes. Good question. Midwest says, thanks for the answer. FYI, your audio is buffering a bit as well. Dang nabbit, rabbit. And I think a lot of that is because once I start looking at some of the other sites, or looking at my map and stuff, I'm bringing things up, it starts to slow things down. So I really apologize for that, you guys. I know that's super annoying. It's annoying for me, so I imagine it's annoying for you. I've got to figure out a way to get that fixed. But thank you, Fishholics, for letting me know that. All right, so I can keep my eyes on the chat, but to further elaborate on the available positions, yes, with the refrigerated, we have 11 days out, 3 days home. If you live out west, we have refrigerated options out west as well. So if you live in, say, Seattle or Montana, we have a terminal in Montana. I don't know how many of you guys know that. I'm out of Montana. Very deep in the snow here. But yes, we have a terminal in Missoula, Montana, a terminal in Fort Dodge, Iowa. That's our main terminal, Fort Dodge, Iowa. That's our pride and joy, where we started in 1931. So yes, and then with Sperry, Minneapolis area, we've got Minneapolis. We have Des Moines. So in Des Moines, that is one of our newer terminals, and we've got a shop. There's two different locations because they're where they're at. But we brought that in because it was just a lot easier for you guys to use as a through than bringing you into Fort Dodge all the time. We have a terminal in Bessemer, Alabama. So we do especially flatbed out of there. And then we have, of course, Hammond, Indiana as well. So yes, different terminals. But anyways, if you're looking for over the road, you live out west, we do have over the road refrigerated out west. So Seattle is a good hiring area for us. Northern Oregon, Portland, Hermiston area, good hiring areas. Missoula, Montana. Now, if you live in Montana, you leave your tractor and trailer in Missoula on your home time so that we can take care of the maintenance. We have a secured lot for you, but Montana's huge. We know this. And this is the only exception to, you must bring the truck to the terminal on your home time, because you could live in Montana and you could live 9 hours from the terminal, which is where I used to live. I mean, it was 9 hours, still in the same state. So, you know what? It's a long ways away, but we want to make sure that the maintenance is taken care of. There is no freight up in that area, but obviously still Montana. So that's why we want to make sure that we take care of your trucking maintenance and everything while you're on home time, so that it's not cutting into your hours, if we can do that, at least in the Montana area. Oh, right. So what else? We also currently hire out of the Denver area, Cheyenne, Wyoming. I know Wyoming sometimes scares people in the winter. And speaking of, but this is eastern Wyoming, so it's not as bad as out west, I think. We'll see, out on 80. Anyways, I do want to take a moment, since I brought it up, when it comes to winter driving, and making sure that you have, first of all, make sure you have chains. You have to have chains on the truck from the 1st of September to May 31st. That's a must, right? Okay, and that's required by DOT. Well, that being said, whether or not you're throwing whether or not you're throwing chains is up to you. We rely on you. You're the captain of your ship, as they say. And so we do rely on you. You're the professional. You're the eyes that are there. We are not. We are trusting you for the right decision. And throwing chains is to get you out of trouble. In general, not to get you into trouble. So please know how to do it so that you are safe and maybe even can help somebody else be safe. But whether or not you're doing that is up to you. I just ask that you communicate with your driver leader, whether you are going or you are not going in an area that does require chains. So that's, not even in the U.S. Oh, that's a, so yeah, that's something to keep in mind as well. Especially when we've had so much weather. Last weekend was full of weather. We had winter storms and high winds, and I'm not just talking Montana. I'm talking Montana and Wyoming and Idaho and South Dakota, and they were all over the place. So please, in the Southeast, there's just weather all over the place, and we do ask that you treat safety as a priority. So embrace safety. Make sure that you're taking the time, the extra time that you need in order to get there safely. For you, the trucking and cargo, yeah, that too. But you got to get home. The buffer. Danny, no, it's me. It's me. I just don't know what to say on that one. All right. Moving on, right? What else we have? Flatbed. We don't do a lot of flatbed out west. Really nothing that's going to be west of Denver. Most of our flatbed is up and down the Midwest, towards the east. Not that we do a whole lot of the New England states or New York. We really don't. We really don't do a lot of that in either division right now. But in the southeast, we do have a lot of flatbed. I want to make sure that you are aware also when it comes to flatbed that even though the terminal is in the southeast and even though there are areas that we can get you home on a weekly basis, for instance, anywhere from Bessemer, Alabama, which again is where our terminal is, along 20 over to Atlanta, Georgia, anything between Bessemer and Atlanta, we can get you home on a weekly basis. But please know that you're still going to be running up into the Midwest. So if you're someone who doesn't like snow, I wish we could control snow, but even in the southeast, you guys get snow at times. But if you're someone who doesn't like snow or is trying to stay away from it, you still run a lot of the Midwest. So I want to make sure that you are aware of that. You won't be running out west. You won't be running the Northwest, but Midwest, yes. Yeah. So we have that. So again, on the home weekly opportunities, I kind of outlined the Midwest. That's a $1,450. We also have a home weekly opportunity. It's $1,000 minimum between Bessemer, Alabama, and Atlanta, Georgia. That's the hiring area is between there. The running area, again, a lot of Iowa and Illinois and Minnesota and Texas and the Carolinas and Tennessee and Kentucky. I mean, just really anything that's going to be east of Denver will be included in that running area. But we can get you home on a weekly basis there. So flatbed, refrigerated. And then we've talked a little bit about the teams. As far as equipment, most of our equipment is the 579 Peterbilts. We have some Volvos. We also have a variety of Peterbilts. 579 is the majority. We have some newer 589s those have been assigned to some of our veteran drivers. Been here for a while. Those are a new model. A little different. We haven't seen yet. We had some 389s also assigned to a lot of our veteran drivers, and they are automatic. Our trucks are automatic. We have a lot of amenities, anywhere from, of course, APUs in the trucks, so inverters because of that. So we have inverters, we have refrigerators and microwaves, we have 22-inch television with Epic View satellite programming, and streaming, because it's not satellite anymore. We upgraded, so we used to have that dome on the back, but now we have the satellite or the streaming receiver. I'm going to get it right. So we have that available too, which also increases our streaming ability. So for those of you who, when you are on downtime or in the sleeper and you are watching a movie or playing, some of you play video games on it, there's that as well. So TV, what else am I missing? We have CB units in all of the trucks. They are double bunk trucks, so it does offer a little bit of storage, or of course if you have a rider, you got room for the rider. We do allow riders ages 10 on up, 10 to 69, and we also allow pets. We also allow dogs, more specifically. We allow one dog up to 85 pounds, or two dogs no more than 60 pounds combined. So we have that. Our equipment is newer model. We do have the lytic system in the trucks, which is one of the safety features. We have two bonuses in them per month. We have our scorecard bonus, and then we have our lytic safety bonus. And that second bonus, the lytic safety bonus, is based off of the lytic system, which does include both inward and outward facing event recorders, lane changings. I mean, it has, if you have a critical event, it will kick on that inward facing event recorder. So if you, let's see, careless, reckless, well, those are more tickets, but if you, I'm trying to think of critical events that would happen. Following too close, erratic lane change, speeding, what's another one? Hard braking. Those are all instances of critical events that would kick on your